From Pawtucket, Rhode Island, it is the USL Championship tonight from Centerville Bank Stadium. It is Rhode Island FC out of the East, welcoming the West, Sacramento Republic. Sean St. Jacques, Marion Crowder, our entire crew. Everyone will have their eyes on this one tonight. Both teams trying to make a push up their respective standings here in the USL Championship. And for Rhode Island, getting that huge win against North Carolina last time out puts them 1 point above the playoff line at the moment in 7th place, with a chance to even jump a little bit higher if Cano Smith's side can gain all 3 points and continue what's been a successful homestand here at Centerville Bank Stadium. And speaking of that historic victory, a late winner over North Carolina.
From the group as a whole with how they can involve him.
That goal against North Carolina gave them a huge lift, and Sac Republic need a lift at the moment. Over 300 minutes played without a goal and 5 total shots last time out, Marion, the fewest in almost 2 years.
And look, it's not only a lack of consistency in what they're creating, but it's a lack of consistency right now in how they're creating. The last few matches, there seemed to be satisfaction with just hopeful services into the area, but overall, it's lacked a bit of purpose. They're at their very best when they're creating overloads in the wide channels and getting players like Russell Cicerone involved when he is running at a back line and when he's getting on the end of services. This is a very dangerous Sacramento Republic side.
Not a ton of history yet between these two sides. One prior meeting ended in a draw with some late drama sprinkled in as well. We will see how the rematch plays out here at Centerville Bank Stadium in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. It's RIFC, it's Sac Republic, and the kickoff is coming up next.
Progress. It's what we strive for, what we sacrifice for. It's about putting in the work. Early mornings, late nights, all in the pursuit of something greater. It's what moves us forward, what unites us. Because progress is more than a goal. It's the journey, the people who stand beside us, and the right partner. Centerville Bank, the official bank of Rhode Island FC. Progress on purpose.
You may think the nicest moments happen once you've arrived at your destination. At Breeze, we think they happen all along the way.
Yeah, let me grab that for you.
That was so nice.
Whether you're kicking back in Breeze Ascent or just enjoying time together in family seating, we take creating nice moments seriously, so you're ready for the rest of the journey ahead. When it's all over, the nicest moment might just be planning your next trip. Breeze. Seriously nice.
At Ortho Rhode Island, we've built the future of orthopedic care around an important foundation, you. Our experienced surgeons and specialists offer the full spectrum of orthopedic care with leading-edge treatments and technology and a one-of-a-kind patient experience. From diagnosis to outpatient surgery, physical and occupational therapy, acute injury care, and advanced imaging, we make you the cornerstone of innovative care. To learn more or schedule an appointment, visit orthopedicsri.com.
Rhode Island is waiting for you. Don't miss out on any of the action this season, as the Ocean State's very own look to defend their Eastern Conference title. Tickets are available now, starting as low as $16.36 per game. Scan the QR code to secure your seat today.
Welcome back, everybody. Sean St. Jacques, Marion Crowder, our entire crew, happy to have you with us as Rhode Island welcomes Sac Republic, an East versus West showdown, and we look at the Ballybet Casino starting lineups for Cano Smith. Definitely some movement, Marion, to look out for, but Dequan Rodriguez lead the line.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how exactly Maxi Rodriguez floats in this build-up. I could see him dropping down a little bit deeper to act as that attacking midfielder alongside players like Clay Holstad. And Sanchez and Karifa Yao, we'll have to see what the relationship in the build-up looks like. And as we look to this Sacramento Republic lineup, a couple of key things to point out. Roro Lopez back in the starting lineup. Watch as his freedom to build relationships in this formation ultimately lead them to success, and hopefully success down the wide channels.
This is an intriguing one, no questions about that. Rhode Island picking up a win last time out that ended a 3-game losing streak and got their first ever win here at Centerville Bank Stadium. Sac Republic are winless in 3. They're scoreless in 3, so both teams going to gain a little bit of a spark from this one here tonight. Off we go in Pawtucket. Rhode Island are going from left to right. It's Sac Republic on the attack in these early moments, trying to end an over 300-minute stretch without a goal under Neil Collins. Nabil Ben Salah is our head official, and we are very much underway. Clay Holstad clipping it towards the halfway line. Dequa, another little turn to find Maxi Rodriguez, who didn't quite control it, leaves it for Nodarse. Try to pick up the pieces. A little bit of miscommunication there. And Sac Republic are back in possession. Ball is clipped over the top down this near side, trying to get Roro Lopez involved. Rio Hope Gund is able to get there and deal with it and defensively handle the situation. And then Nodarse is brought down on the follow-up. It's a free kick. Out wide. These two teams have played once before. May 11th of last year was a memorable 4-goal affair, 2 goals each in the end at Burns Stadium. A late Ricketts equalizer, giving Sac Republic the point on the road. Is coming together here. Nodarse was brought down by the advancing Michel Benitez, who Neil Collins has said has been really, really impressive as of late, but the decision goes Rhode Island's way. Second time Nodarse has been brought down these early minutes of the game, and he's pointing to where he was brought down, the contact point. Tonight's keys to the game are brought to you by Flood Ford. Maren, you're looking at the transitional moments from a Rhode Island perspective.
Yeah, and that's directly because this Sacramento Republic team is a team that likes to get forward with their wingbacks. And if Rhode Island can recognize those moments and find the speed of players like Maxi Rodriguez in those opening pockets, that'll lead them to success. And then we mentioned it in how good he has been. One of the keys for Sacramento Republic is going to be how those central midfielders can control the tempo and find players in isolation. This is a Sac Republic team who is very, very good in the wide channels. They have a lot of speed, they have a lot of 1v1 ability, and some of their services into the box are the most dangerous in this league. The more that they can do that, the more that they can involve players like Jack Gurr, the better off that this team will be.
Last week's win really gave Rhode Island a huge lift. It looked like, again, it might not happen for them going into second half stoppage time, but Nodarse was fouled inside the penalty area. Maxi Rodriguez did the rest. Just felt like a weight was lifted off this Rhode Island team, kind of similar to their first win last year after all the draws came about early in the inaugural campaign. That's what it's felt like for Rhode Island this season. Again, just needing that spark, that lift, that big season-changing moment. Many around the club are hoping that last week's stoppage time winner was that turning point. Facing a Sac Republic team tonight that have struggled on the road this season. Just one road win in the league for Neil Collins' side. Offside flag goes up there against Clay Holstad. It's a Sac Republic free kick. And of course, the last one was a heartbreaker at Birmingham just 3 days ago in the midweek against, of course, Mark Briggs, their former head coach, now the Legion head man. Stoppage time winner saw the Legion break Sac Republic hearts last time out. It was a game that Neil Collins said he felt his team at least deserved a point out of that game, but the game, as everyone knows, can be very cruel. Birmingham snatched all three at the death. Jackson Lee gets another starting goal tonight. Oh, and he nearly gives that away. It's a bit of a fortunate ricochet off the Sacramento pressure and is able to catch it out of the sky.
Well, this near miss aside, Jackson Lee has come in to fill pretty big shoes in Coque Vegas, and over these last few matches, he has proved just how capable he is, not only his shot-stopping ability, but his ability to really bypass all of the lines. He's got great distribution from his feet. And you have to think with players like Albert Dikwa, their ability to hold up play could prove to be very successful here this afternoon.
Vitiello plays it out wide, and Sacramento go over the top here. And it is a foot race breaking out down this far side, and Rhode Island are a bit fortunate here as it ricochets kindly for Karifa Yao, just outside the penalty area to clear it for Rhode Island. Sacramento will clear it over the halfway line, and then Clay Holstead recovers for Rhode Island. Back to Lee. We asked Cano Smith about J.J. Williams, about Coque Vegas, the unavailable players at the moment, and said they're not going to feature this week, but they're getting closer. So we'll see how that develops in the weeks ahead. Now Darce can get clean contact on it, and it's a Sacramento throw. The New England laborers are training the workforce of today. That'll build our tomorrow with state-of-the-art training facilities across Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. We'll be equipped with the classroom and job site knowledge to start a rewarding career in the construction industry. Build your future with the union that made the stadium at Tidewater, home to RIFC. One of the interesting things, particularly from a Sacramento point of view, as Vitiello is there, Sac Republic were in such a good place as far as scoring goals before this recent drought. They had scored 5 against Las Vegas in the league a few weeks back, and they followed up that with a 4-0 win over Las Vegas in the Jägermeister Cup as well. Obviously, Las Vegas did dismiss Antonio Nocerino, but Sac Republic were in such good form scoring at that particular time. It's pretty amazing that they haven't scored since. Those two really impressive results. Rhode Island on the attack here. Maxi Rodriguez, a little layoff, and it's Clay Holstead who can certainly strike them, sending it into the seats.
Well, a slight change for this Rhode Island side is Grant Stoneman stepping up into that deep-lying midfield role, and because of that positional change from Cano Smith, it's allowing for Clay Holstead to get even more involved in the attack. Clay Holstead, a player who can cover as much ground as anybody on the pitch and can obviously strike from distance. But I like that little change up with Grant Stoneman stepping into a more advanced central position. And that, Sean, is really what Mabika, Yao, the relationship that they have, the balance that they bring, it allows you to be able to put your players into some more advanced positions, take a little bit more risk going forward. And we said it in the open. I feel like one of the biggest positives and that historic win here at Centerville Bank Stadium last weekend was just the personality. The personality for this group really came to life, the creativity on the ball, that grit, that toughness, and their defensive structure as well. And that was very reminiscent of a team who went on such an incredible run in the 2024 season.
Well, you mentioned Grant Stoneman, who just, of course, signed a contract extension here with Rhode Island. Cano Smith called him a leader, consistent, provides stability, not just on the field, but in the locker room as well. He's one of the guys that maybe doesn't always get in your face, isn't always the vocal leader, but Cano Smith relies on him to kind of keep the rest of the team in check at times, particularly from a locker room perspective. And Grant Stoneman did release a comment on re-signing or signing an extension, saying he just wants to see the project through. He's put his heart and soul into this with Rhode Island, and he wants to continue that journey. As Quizera continues his journey into the penalty area and takes a deflection out of play. It's going to be a Rhode Island corner on that far side, which of course means that we get to tell you about Chick-fil-A Attleboro giving out free chicken sandwiches for all RIFC home corner kick goals this season. Haven't had one yet, but that won't stop the fans from shaking Centerville Bank Stadium to its core here in the hopes of getting one.
I feel like you had a patented phrase that I'm still waiting to see it. The Rhode Island foot stomp. Something to that effect a couple of weeks ago, and I was for it. I'm still waiting to see the patent sign beside it.
Well, if it's put on a t-shirt, then I think it becomes official, so we'll wait on that. And from the corner, Rodriguez tried to find Nodarce, and Danny Vitiello is on the scene to collect. Gives us time to talk about tonight's health report. It's presented by Ortho Rhode Island, the official orthopedic partner and team physicians of RIFC. We already hinted at this earlier. Koke Vegas and JJ Williams are really the two biggest names out of the Rhode Island squad. You may be wondering where Noah Fuson is. He begins the night on the bench. This is a giveaway, though, from Rhode Island. It's a good recovery just on the edge of the 18-yard box. I think there was some miscommunication there, but Rio Hope Gund and company are able to sweep that up. And then from the throw-in, it is eventually cleared away by Karifa Yao.
An important one for Sac Republic. Not listed on the injury report, but obviously no Sebastian Herrera over these last couple of games either. And I think to go back to your point about this onslaught of goals that we saw the Sac Republic team score in this drought over the last 312 minutes and counting, a lot of it has been because of a lack of availability. I think Sebastian Herrera provides a lot of intent to this group's attack, and not having him has made them feel a little bit less purposeful in how they build and what they're trying to unlock. And so that's something that this Sac Republic side is looking for today, just a bit of consistency in what they're creating and how quality opportunities it becomes.
Well, Albert Dequa's goal against North Carolina last time not only was a vintage Dequa goal, just the hard work it took for him to get into that position and then getting a clean bit of contact on the header. Cano Smith is looking for even more and more of his attacking players, and we've talked about this multiple times this season. One goal can turn into many, sort of start a bit of momentum. That's what Rhode Island, of course, will hope for to carry into tonight. Sac Republic will get a free kick.
And I think that's a fair ask, especially given some of the nuances to how this lineup has been structured over the past few games. It would be one thing to say, hey, I need you guys to go score more, and then not put these players in a position to succeed. That's not what's happening, right? We just talked about Grant Stoneman offering a little bit more freedom for players like Clay Holstad to move forward, but also Frank Nodarce moving over to be in a more advanced position on the right-hand side. His ability to combine with Hope Gund has been very promising.
That's one of the things that Neil Collins talked to us about from a Sac Republic perspective that at least raised our eyebrows, the fact that he feels the side isn't creating enough quality chances at the moment. And that is just so unlike this Sac Republic team going back through the years. Something they're trying to put right tonight.
and that'll prove to be even more difficult because to just give the full picture, this is a group that is having to manage minutes right now. It's been a tough week, probably their first tough look at travel across the country, Birmingham, Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Not an easy week for Sac Republic, and something that Neil Collins is going to be really leaning on his bench heavily today.
Jackson Lee's clearance goes out for a throw-in on the far side. And it's a loose touch that allows Clay Holstead to step in, and Stoneman tries to pick out Dikwa, who's under heavy pressure here and is dispossessed. Freddie Kleeman and company able to win it back for the visitors. Lopez back for Desmond. The part too, from a Sacramento point of view, just had to make the long journey to Birmingham for a midweek game. Now you're as far east as you've been all season, and maybe will be all season tonight. Here in Rhode Island, in the Northeast. Traveling the U.S. sometimes gets lost in some of these tough stretches for teams in the USL Championship. That can really, at times, wear a team down, making that west to east coast trek and vice versa. Rhode Island FC would like to recognize their anchor partners, Breeze Airways, Capelli Sports, Centerville Bank, and Ortho Rhode Island for their support on and off the field this season. Of course, Maxi Rodriguez getting that clutch goal for Rhode Island, was on the team of the week last week. USL Championship. As it's a misplaced touch by Mabika. Lovely threading of the needle inside the middle of the penalty area here for Cicerone, who goes a little bit too far away from goal. Still work to do here for Rhode Island defensively. Benitez for Cicerone, who pokes it through. A little give and go, and then it's a dink over the top to the edge of the six for Jack Gurr, who's just out-muscled by Ame Mabika in the end. One of the interesting things we did find out from Cano Smith this week, and it was a little bit off the wall, so to speak, as more Sac Republic pressure comes here. There's been some nervy Rhode Island moments here at the back tonight. But one of the things that Cano Smith shared with us, of course a native of the wonderful country of Bermuda, is that he bought a cricket bat this week and let the guys have a whack at it, so to speak. And he said that Clay Holstead was the best at trying to hit the ball with the cricket bat. And he said he's a guy that he could play any sport and pick it up right away. And he said cricket was no exception.
Which, in fairness, when you have that conversation with, oh, he's just an athlete, he can do whatever, most of the time cricket is not in that conversation in terms of just general athleticism. That's saying a lot from Cano Smith about Clay Holstead. It was actually an even funnier part of the larger conversation, trying to kind of pinpoint the personality of these players on and off the field, who matches what. We've obviously talked about Clay Holstead being a player who just likes to run, right? He needs a job to do. And somebody who just gives off that he can be good at anything. Cano Smith said, yep, that's absolutely correct. Jackson Lee in that conversation as well, a player who brings a little bit of grit, a little bit of toughness to this team.
I loved what Cano said about Karifa Yao. He said he's a warrior on the pitch, but you'd want to hug him off the pitch. It's like a teddy bear. A little talking to here. Nabil Ben Salah is our referee tonight. 1 or 2 words for Lee Desmond in that Sac Republic defensive setup. And speaking of, Clay Holstead will take the throw here. Rio Hope Gunn's delivery is pretty good. It's headed to the outskirts of the 18-yard box. Sanchez picks up the pieces for RIFC. Guizera back off his suspension last time out finds Sanchez, who's upended on that far side, and certainly Jack Gurr is known for staying in those kinds of challenges. He's not one to pull out there. Referee says on we go, it's just a throw in. Sanchez wants an explanation, won't get one from Nabil Ben Salah. Another long Rhode Island throw, and it's headed towards the outskirts and kept away from Stoneman. Recycled for Hope Gund. Here is Sanchez. It's controlled and then whipped in by Holstead, looking for Mabika. Lopez then dispossessed by Nodarse. Dikwa recycles it for Hope Gunn. Rodriguez comes back to get it. A no-look pass for Holstead, who tries to return the favor. Challenge ricochets off of Rodriguez, and Desmond clears. And the Rhode Island header, despite the great hustle from Maxi Rodriguez, he's gonna go over the end line, or over the sideline, beg your pardon, and out for a Sacramento throw after some good sustained Rhode Island possession. Desmond to take. And then gets it back in the end. The feed from Luis Felipe. Now Lopez assessing the seam. Did have Dikwa on his 6. Played back by Benitez. Then clipped down this near side where no Sac Republic player was in the vicinity. Jackson Lee to clear, but he does concede possession back. Lovely switch there by Roro Lopez out to the far side. Jack Gurr back for Lopez, and Clay Holstead gets enough of the ball to win it back for Rhode Island. That was the signal from the referee. Sacramento throw.
Two totally different looks right there from Sac Republic. The first one, that hopeful ball that we talked about, just kind of into no man's land, and there were no proactive runs, right? Reactionary from Russell Cicerone. They are fortunate to gain that possession back, and then the second time around, we saw a much more purposeful type of Sacramento Republic attack, all running through Roro Lopez, and a player who can find those big diagonal switches. And for a team that is so good in the flanks and has so many skilled players such as Jack Gurr in those wide areas, the more you can do that, the better off you're going to be.
Oh, lovely threading of the needle to the edge of the 6. Hope Gunn's header away. Quizera trying to help Rhode Island clear it. He is dispossessed. Allowing Sacramento to again get back after it in the attacking third here with Timmer out wide. First time ball in is deflected towards Mabika, whose clearance wasn't the best, and it is going to be a Sacramento corner. In any hurry to take it will be, of course, Roro Lopez. What a career he's had in this USL Championship setup with Sac Republic. Going to get his side on the board here after some good Rhode Island play up the other end. Lopez with a stinging ball into that far side of the 6, but it is Rodriguez who emerges, and then tried to send Quizera on his way down that far side to no avail.
Not a bad look, though. Those are those transitional moments that Rhode Island has the speed, they have the 1v1 ability to be quite dangerous.
Gurr will take the throw from the wrong position, told to back up a few steps. Gurr will go down the line for Lopez, who couldn't return the favor. And good pressure from Dikwa to make it difficult on Sacramento, who do keep the throw in. Look to work quickly down this far side. Lopez looping it over the top. Mabika's header is there. Defensively, Gurr follows up. Sanchez gives the ball away. Rhode Island struggling to clear their lines here. Cross into the middle of the 6-yard box is cleared away by Nodarse. Holstead gives possession back again. And Sacramento can build once more on this near side with Desmond. Long stretch here with Rhode Island pinned in their own end. Follow-up attempt there from Nick Ross. He's cut out by Quizera. Mabika back for Lee. Getting to the game is easy with RIPTA's free game day bus service. Buses loop every 8 to 10 minutes between Pawtucket Central, Falls Transit Center, Centerville Bank Stadium, and the stadium's reserved parking lots. For a full list of stops, ripta.com/RIFC. No score in the 26th minute. Mabika for Hope Gund on this near side. Yao and Mabika. Hope Gun from Rodriguez. Ball is clipped up ahead. Dequa tried to set it up for Holstead. It was cut out. And Rio Hope Gun will leave it for Jackson Lee on this near side. Rodriguez. Ooh, has his pocket picked. And Karifa Yao helped for a moment, but Sacramento can still bring some numbers forward here. Ross up ahead. Cicerone trying to make the run. Again, it's played over for Benitez on this near side. Missed opportunity from a Sacramento point of view, at least so far. Lovely spread of the play by Lopez out wide for Gurr. And Gurr's delivery has a little bit too much air underneath it, and it goes out of play.
Very reminiscent of some successful moments that the Sac Republic side had in that Birmingham Legion match. An unfortunate loss for them. Agree with Neil Collins that they did enough to at least get a draw out of that one. And where they were really the most successful in the first half was picking apart those individual mistakes and making them pay on the other end of it. And so far, that's where they've created the most of their chances here in this first half, just capitalizing on some moments of untidiness on the ball from Rhode Island, finding again that big switch of the point and getting a service back into the area.
The other intrigue around this matchup is the fact that these are two of the better defensive teams in the USL Championship.
Absolutely.
Rhode Island have only conceded 14 goals so far this season. Sac Republic have only conceded 12 to this point in the campaign, and both teams have certainly had their attacking struggles, but the defensive stability has been there. That's really what's given both Cano Smith and Neil Collins confidence in their respective teams that eventually it will come together, as Vitiello, one of the best goalkeepers in the league, is on the scene there.
And already in this first 28 minutes, I've been quite impressed with the discipline of Rhode Island's back line. It can be so easy against this Sac Republic team to start drifting into those wide channels, start trying to have better support in the 1v1 situations, but Rhode Island has remained compact, and they've been willing to give Sac Republic the wide channels in favor of what they bring aerially in the 18-yard box.
Here's Holstead. Early cross is going to go over the head of Dequa, who anticipated the header, but it does go to Vitiello. You can see hands on Dequa's head there. Nearly timed it to perfection. If you're looking for help on how to pay for college, look no further than RISLA. Been helping students and families for decades. RISLA.com to find out more. As Sac Republic are going to waltz their way through here, but Lee makes the stop. We'd said there'd been some Rhode Island disconnect at the back. That was a perfect example of it, but Jack Gurr cannot finish the chance. Should have been 1-0. Well, that is one that Sac Republic are going to want to have back. Not going to get a better chance all night, surely. Jack Gurr has scored twice in the league this season. I think many Sacramento fans would have bet money on him to score there. Jackson Lee comes up with a gigantic stop for Rhode Island to keep it at level pegging. Quisera and Pirano are discussing with Nabil Ben Salah over something untoward. Here's the big chance.
And it's quick recognition from Danny Vitiello. Russell Cicerone dropping a little bit deeper, and that occupies some Rhode Island confusion. And Jack Gurr just keeps his width and keeps the verticality. And you mentioned it, Sean, not going to get a better look on goal than that one. But it was a moment of hesitation from Jack Gurr that we're not used to seeing. Man, very decisive on the ball.
Well, and speaking of Jack Gurr, he is booked for that challenge. Well, we said it earlier, he is not going to pull out of any challenge, any battle. He does pick up an early booking here. That'll be one to keep an eye on as the match moves along, just because of the aggressive way that Jack Gurr plays. Quisera just getting back up to his feet as well, still trying to run that off as those two shake it off with a handshake. Referee swiftly giving Gurr the yellow, which is now, of course, confirmed. Salah is still checking on something else here, and now finally blows the whistle. Get the ball back into play. There have been a few players that have wanted to have a chat with our center referee in this first half. This ball is flared out for Lopez on this near side. There's room to work with here. Cicerone cutting in field. And plays a lovely ball out to the far side. First time shot is a whisker wide from Jack Gurr. Two big chances for Gurr, and this time he just misses hitting the target.
And keep your eye on the run of Pirano on the back post. You see how he just pulls across Aldair Sanchez, and that moment of confusion for Sanchez. Do I go with Pirano? Do I stay with the back post runner? That's what opens up that channel for Jack Gurr. Two of the best opportunities we have seen so far in this first half falling at the wingback's feet.
Couple of worrisome moments defensively for Rhode Island. Deke was offside on this near side, just by a step. I'll show your love for the team in yellow with wicked good can of Sip Sunshine IPA from Lawson's Finest Liquids, proud sponsor of RIFC. It's a little bit of a reunion between a few of the different players here tonight. Danny Vitiello, Russell Cicerone, of course on the same team, and Albert Dequa all played on the same Pittsburgh Riverhounds side back in 2021, 2022.
Pretty good one.
A really good Bob Lilly side. Those players reuniting this evening with each other. Jackson Lee's touch was a little bit firm, and then he almost hit it into a Sac Republic player, not for the first time tonight. Just been a couple of moments where it's been disjointed for Rhode Island at the back, but they have not been punished. Sac Republic have not been able to find that clinical touch yet again so far tonight, but they've been very, very close. Rhode Island throw, not enough contact there from Quisera in the referee's opinion, although once again, Gurr and Quisera going after each other. Hope gunned. Forced back to Lee. That's the thing we talked about where Rhode Island sit at the moment in the Eastern Conference table. Coming into the night, Sac Republic are not in a playoff spot in the Western Conference. This recent stretch has seen them fall all the way down to 10th in the Western Conference. And it's so tight in the West, pretty much from top to bottom. A run like that could drop you 3 or 4 places, and that's what's happened to Sacramento these last few weeks. Coming together there, Holstead trying to keep the play moving. It appears Rhode Island will get the free kick. From Mabika, up. Rhode Island free kick with 10 minutes left of normal time in the half.
I am not sure that Frank Nadarse has touched the ball today and has not ended up getting fouled. Obviously took a massive hit as well, coming of the heads in that Lewis City match that still sees him wearing that wrap on his head. And that was something that Sacramento Republic knew coming into this match, right? They knew that this is a group in Rhode Island FC that can be quite physical, and if you don't come in to match that aggression, you're not going to stand a chance.
Rodriguez has his free kick come up short. Be a Rhode Island throw on the far side. Quizera will take it. Eventually, I was going to throw it into Sanchez. He'll leave it for Sanchez here, who finds Holstead. Certainly Sacramento have had the better of the opportunities so far. In this first half, Rhode Island have not quite gotten going yet. Had a couple of early opportunities, but since then, Sacramento have dictated the play, and Roro Lopez maybe took a shot here. That was deflected out of play. Sacramento captain needs a moment. Now looks to be okay. Quizera into throw-in and takes it quickly. Well, RIFC fans, grab yourself an ice cold Pepsi Zero Sugar for the match. Zero never tasted so good. Try it to believe it. Pepsi Zero Sugar is a proud sponsor of RIFC. Audacious little Dequa flick. Eventually, it's cleared away by Benitez, and then a heavy challenge there on Cicerone. Sac Republic want the referee to go to his pocket here. Karifa Yao will be summoned for a chat as we look at the replay here. He actually gets the ball, Karifa Yao.
Palms here?
Certainly not a yellow, that's for sure. Lopez picks out Cicerone beautifully, but he's quickly swarmed by the Rhode Island defense here, and it was given away by Hope Gund. And Rhode Island, fortunately, were not punished for another mistake here at the back. Hope Gund then picks out Nadarse, and here comes Clay Holstead striding ahead. Lays it off for Nadarse. And Rhode Island nearly score a goal out of absolutely nothing here.
Well, this is one of the few times we continue to see Maxi Rodriguez drift out to this right-hand side, but often we haven't seen players vacate or occupy the space that he's vacated. Well, Frank Nadarse does that this time around, and it ends up creating a wonderful give and go with Clay Holstead, and finds Frank Nadarse on the end of it again. Unfortunately for number 15, just gets underneath that one. But it's much better recognition from Frank Nadarse that, all right, if Maxi's gonna drift out here, I need to make a run ahead of the ball in a more central area. And that's ultimately what started that sequence.
The header from Maxi Rodriguez is perfectly weighted for Albert Diqua, who has his shot saved by his former teammate Danny Vitiello. It's a Chick-fil-A Attleboro corner.
But what about that from Maxi Rodriguez? And it's this touch from Albert Diqua. He takes that inside just a little bit more, just enough so he can deter Freddie Kleeman from being involved. Perhaps he opens up a bit more of the frame of goal.
Sanchez. It's over just about everyone's head. Quizera tries his service here, and it's nowhere near where Rhode Island needed it to be. There's no job too big for Norfolk Power Equipment, New England's premier Kubota dealer. Norfolk Power Equipment is a proud sponsor of RIFC. Come down today and get the job done with Norfolk Power. We just were talking about how it wasn't clicking for Rhode Island, and a split second later, they've had two really good chances. Rio Hope Gund got lost there off the header. Chance here for Benitez to run onto this for Sacramento. There's numbers coming up behind him. Cicerone lays it off. Gets it back, a little give and go, and then give a go again. Eventually no Darce, and Hope Gund shut things down defensively for Rhode Island. And then it's a lovely clip ball into the path of Albert Diqua, who leads the Rhode Island break. Diqua looks to lay it off here for Holstead. Holstead for Maxi Rodriguez, who has a pop. And sends it out of play.
At the end of the day, that's really well done from Albert Diqua, just to keep depth in the shape, provide an outlet. As the Sacramento Republic team has a tendency to pin you in deep into their final third. That outlet provided by Albert Diqua allows a wonderful release. Clay Holstead with Diqua every step of the way.
Fans, 2025 single game tickets for RIFC's historic first season at brand new Centerville Bank Stadium are on sale now. Get yours today. Awkward clearance from Vitiello. And Mabika trying to poke it forward. Stoneman for Rodriguez. Sanchez holds up the play and resets. Hope Gund. Switch the point of the attack. No Darce. Couldn't get it past Benitez. And Lopez had the right idea, but no one was anywhere near there making a run for Sacramento. Stoneman. And then Holstead pirouettes after it was played into him by Hope Gund. Diqua's pressure on Vitiello leads to a Kleeman outlet. Time and space for Desmond, although we didn't see Rodriguez on his 6 and eventually gets past him. And then the pass in the end is given away by Pirano. Couldn't get a boot onto it cleanly. Quizera a push and a chase towards the byline. And he is caught up too, and Quizera ends up committing the foul. It's a free kick.
How well done was that, Garrett Timmer? Quizera, a very, very fast player, a player who can eliminate just about any defender he wants to in his wake. Timmer with him every step of the way. Not only that, earns the foul, earns possession back for his team. It's been very good defensive battles all over the pitch here in the first 45 minutes. And I think as we've seen Rhode Island FC clean up some of their moments in the build, we've also seen more recognition for runs ahead of the ball that needed to occur a lot sooner. But now that they have, Rhode Island FC has unlocked some new life in the attacking third.
A little bit of concern here for Grant Stoneman, who of course has been a mainstay in this Rhode Island 11 so far this season. When there were other injuries and players not available in that back line, it was Grant Stoneman who was holding things down for Rhode Island. Of course, wearing the captain's armband tonight. So we're into 2 added minutes at the end of the half. I'd argue he's been Rhode Island's most important player this season, Grant Stoneman. Again, for those just tuning in, Grant Stoneman just signed a contract extension earlier this week to extend his stay here. He loves the project. He's given his heart and soul to it, as he put it earlier this week. He wants to see it through. We asked Connor Smith about him, and he just glowed over how much Grant Stoneman means to this group. One of the guys he just constantly turns to for support and leadership.
And I think you make a fair argument. I mean, because if you're not watching this Rhode Island team from week to week, it's important to note just how badly the injury bug bit them earlier in the season, right? And there was a lot of turmoil. There was a lot of things that this group was sorting through because of the injuries, also because of some unfavorable results, right? They were having to dig deep a bit internally. And so not only having a player like Grant Stoneman, as you mentioned, the versatility that he brings to your actual lineup, but also just the mental fortitude that he can bring to a group in times like this. Positive trajectory all the way around.
Yao plays it out wide, and then it's sent back for Jackson Lee, who has had some moments of intrigue at the back tonight, and there's another. Just about got himself out of harm's way. Sacramento have certainly keyed in on Jackson Lee tonight. They've tried to make him work. And now Mabika loses out. Sacramento with another big chance here, and again, Rhode Island escape. Neil Collins' side will be kicking themselves. They've had 3 gorgeous opportunities, golden chances here to take the lead, and they haven't taken any of them as Mabika clears it out for a throw-in.
You're spot on, Sean. There's definitely a trigger into this press as soon as the ball is pushed back to the feet of Jackson Lee, a goalkeeper who is quite good with his feet. But that's triggering the Sacramento Republic press, and Toronto number 10 and White, one of the fastest players on the pitch here this evening.
Of course, we have had the 2 added minutes here. It's up to the referee how much longer this half continues. Clear the ball up the other end. It'll be played into Vitiello from Jared Timmer. Vitiello's ball forward is really well placed. The header down, looking for Cicerone from Gurr. He's cut out as the ball bounces out of play. That is the end of the half here in Pawtucket. A half that saw a bunch of golden opportunities, mostly for Sacramento in the first 45 minutes, but Rhode Island had their fair share of chances as well. And we're stuck at a 0-0 stalemate with 45 to play.
Yeah, I think if you have to give the edge to anyone, it's definitely Sacramento Republic, just coming in here to a tough environment and creating, no doubt, the better of the chances. They have been at their best when they've created those numerical advantages in the wide areas, and then they find the isolation on the other side. But Sean, as the half continued to grow on, we started to see this Rhode Island FC side build a little bit more nuance to their relationships, and those runs above the ball need to continue happening. And as we mentioned in the open, can you continue to involve Albert Dikwa in the areas where he's at his best, which is ultimately the 18-yard box?
Well, the plot thickens here in Pawtucket. Both teams that could really use a win. Rhode Island trying to make it 2 wins in a row. Sacramento trying to end a 3-match winless run, all without a goal in those 3 winless games. 0-0 at the half here at Centerville Bank Stadium. We'll look around the league and cover much more when we come back. Antigua!
Progress. It's what we strive for, what we sacrifice for. It's about putting in the work. Early mornings, late nights, all in the pursuit of something greater. It's what moves us forward, what unites us. Because progress is more than a goal. It's the journey, the people who stand beside us, and the right partner. Centerville Bank, the official bank of Rhode Island FC. Progress on purpose.
At Ortho Rhode Island, we've built the future of orthopedic care around an important foundation, you. Our experienced surgeons and specialists offer the full spectrum of orthopedic care with leading-edge treatments and technology and a one-of-a-kind patient experience. From diagnosis to outpatient surgery, physical and occupational therapy, acute injury care, and advanced imaging, we make you the cornerstone of innovative care. To learn more or schedule an appointment, visit orthopedicsri.com.
You may think the nicest moments happen once you've arrived at your destination. At Breeze, we think they happen all along the way.
Yeah, let me grab that for you.
That was so nice.
Whether you're kicking back in Breeze Ascent or just enjoying time together in family seating, we take creating nice moments seriously, so you're ready for the rest of the journey ahead. When it's all over, the nicest moment might just be planning your next trip. Breeze. Seriously nice.
Halftime here in Rhode Island. It is RIFC 0, Sac Republic 0. Good one brewing here in the USL Championship tonight. We'll get to the second half in just a few moments. But first and foremost, these fans are the winners of the seriously nice seat upgrade, courtesy of Breeze Airways. Each match, Breeze Airways upgrades lucky fans to a premium matchday experience. Breeze Airways is a proud partner of RIFC. And there's other big things to look forward to here at Centerville Bank Stadium, which is going to host the Major League Champion, not just for Rhode Island FC, but other sports coming to Centerville Bank Stadium. Well, we'll step aside for a moment, but first, let's look back at some of the best goals and saves of the week in the USL Championship from last week.
This is a good threaded ball through. Real chance, and it is the only goal. It was a beautifully threaded ball through, and Phoenix Rising have taken the lead here.
He hits it, and the young goalkeeper just gets a hand to that to tip it over the bar. Absolutely stunning save from the 18-year-old Fernando Delgado.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
How does Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water keep you in the game? We always source our water directly from the natural spring to fuel every body, no matter how you like to move it. So whether you're chasing your goals or just staying active this summer, make sure to stay hydrated with Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. always bottled at the natural spring source.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way.
Focus!
Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power.
Whatever it takes.
Trusted for over 100 years. Tiger Balm's proven herbal blend tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger so that you can rise above pain.
Let's make a Karate Kid.
And get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Who wants that smoke? You want that smoke? Look, I ain't playing, I'm saying this ain't a joke. There ain't no bluffing, I'm calling you out for show. It's either all in or nothing, I go for broke. Who wants that smoke?
It's time to hit. It's time to fly. It's time to leave it all on the line. It's time to get loud. And time for tradition. This is our time. This is your time. It's rugby time, America.
0-0 at the half here in Rhode Island. Sean St. Jacques, Marion Crowder, our entire crew, happy to have you with us. Big night of action in the USL Championship this evening, both with teams in the East, of course, and the West as well. And well, there were some big games on Friday night as well, most notably Louisville's unbeaten start to the season coming to an end at the hands of John Bradford's North Carolina side, and then big wins, needed wins for Lexington over the champs and Hartford over Loudoun.
Yeah, what about a brace for Kyle Edwards? Hartford Athletic, 43rd minute, 56th minute, and you mentioned it, Lexington, a much-needed confidence booster, ending a run of good form for the Switchbacks. Although they played well, ultimately Lexington gets the most earned 3 points.
We'll see if those two teams can build from there and trying to push up the respective tables. And well, some scores coming in from today as well. Detroit's getting a huge win in themselves over Miami. Bob Lilly's side in need of a win. They're leading 2-1 at home at Highmark over the Rowdies. Charleston ahead over Phoenix. And then Las Vegas and Indy 0-0 at the half.
And this Miami loss would be big time in terms of what it means for Detroit City. Reminder, this is a Miami side that Wednesday of this week beat the Charleston Battery by a scoreline of 1-0. So good bounce back from the Battery. And we'll have to see what this can do for Detroit City in terms of confidence.
Definitely going to be keeping an eye on those as the night moves along here in the USL Championship. And then, of course, there's some big games later on tonight. ESPN Plus, Oakland goes to Birmingham, see if the Legion can bounce back. And then the Lab, San Antonio against New Mexico. That's going to be a really good one. Finishing off with El Paso against Monterey Bay on Golazo tonight.
Yeah, that New Mexico United San Antonio match. No love lost between those two. That'll be a roaring environment. And then Jordan Stewart, his Monterey Bay side. Can they find a little bit more consistency against arguably the biggest surprise in the 2025 USL Championship season thus far, El Paso?
Yeah, Wilmer Cabrera has done an excellent job so far with Los Locos this season. We'll see if the train stays on the tracks tonight in Seaside, California. News and notes from around the USL Championship. Of course, the big news, Atletico Dallas is going to be joining in 2027. Not a bad place to pick for your home games, the historic Cotton Bowl Stadium. Can't wait to see that. And then, of course, everyone's been talking about Aston Villa, a Premier League side taking on a Bundesliga side in Eintracht Frankfurt at Louisville Stadium on July 26th. Lynn family playing host to that. And then, again, Louisville's run coming to an end against North Carolina last night. We were wondering how much longer Danny Cruz's side could go without that O on their record. It turns out North Carolina was their kryptonite last night. So we'll see how Danny Cruz's side bounces back moving forward. 0-0 scoreline here between Rhode Island and Sacramento Republic. We will have highlights and stats and then the second half kick after the break.
This week on USL All Access, the table tells us which team on the field has been the best due to points, right? What about coaches? We take a statistical deep dive to see which manager has influenced their team in the games the most within 90 minutes of play. Joe Hafferty, defender from Lexington SC, joins us to talk his unique journey developmentally and how Lexington could be on the rise in the Western Conference.
Ortho Rhode Island, we've built the future of orthopedic care around an important foundation, you. Our experienced surgeons and specialists offer the full spectrum of orthopedic care with leading-edge treatments and technology and a one-of-a-kind patient experience. From diagnosis to outpatient surgery, physical and occupational therapy, acute injury care, and advanced imaging, we make you the cornerstone of innovative care. To learn more or schedule an appointment, visit orthopedicsri.com.
Progress. It's what we strive for, what we sacrifice for. It's about putting in the work. Early mornings, late nights, all in the pursuit of something greater. It's what moves us forward, what unites us. Because progress is more than a goal. It's the journey, the people who stand beside us, and the right partner. Centerville Bank, the official bank of Rhode Island FC. Progress on purpose.
You may think the nicest moments happen once you've arrived at your destination. At Breeze, we think they happen all along the way.
Yeah, let me grab that for you.
That was so nice.
Whether you're kicking back in Breeze Ascent or just enjoying time together in family seating, we take creating nice moments seriously, so you're ready for the rest of the journey ahead. When it's all over, the nicest moment might just be planning your next trip. Breeze. Seriously nice.
It doesn't matter what you ride to work as long as you leave your car behind. Drive less, bike more. With the Drive Less RI app, every green trip counts. Whether you're pedaling to the office or cruising to class, log your bike trips and start earning rewards. Be a climate champion. Bike more, drive less. Download the Drive Less RI app today, because every mile matters. Visit drivelessri.com to get started.
Sean and Marion back here with you at the half. It is Rhode Island 0, Sac Republic 0. Both teams coming very close to breaking the deadlock in the first 45 minutes. We'll take you back through. Rhode Island, it appears, have made a change here. Grant Stoneman appears he cannot continue. That is a big, big note for Rhode Island moving forward. And in his stead is Taimu Okiyoshi, who's certainly more of an attacking player for Kano Smith. We'll see how he gets involved in the fold as the second half commences. There he is. We'll see if he can make an impact in this second half. Rhode Island in search, of course, of back-to-back wins. Potentially take them a spot up the table in the Eastern Conference, particularly after Miami lost earlier today to Detroit. It will be Rhode Island just clipping it into the Sacramento end to get the second half started here. Sean St. Jacques, Marion Crowder, our entire crew. Happy to have you with us. Rhode Island trying to build off of their first ever Centerville Bank Stadium win last week against North Carolina. And Sacramento trying to end this long stretch without a win and without a goal as well. 3.5 games now have gone by without either one.
And normally the insertion of Okiyoshi for Grant Stoneman, at least from a positional perspective, not at all one-to-one. Certainly in terms of the player profile, not one-to-one, but Grant Stoneman was playing in that more deep-lying central midfield role, a place where Okiyoshi does find himself very comfortable in, very skilled player on the ball. Just a matter of how quickly he can get himself worked into this mixture.
Tries to win the ball back here for Rhode Island. Put pressure on the edge of the Sacramento penalty area. Finally cleared away by Timmer with Quizera continuing the pressure. Eventually ends up at the feet of Jackson. Lee's ball up ahead is going to bounce out of play for a throw. We tell you the USL is going to be, of course, on ESPN 2, June, beg your pardon, 25th, 7 p.m. as Indy 11 takes on the Tampa Bay Rowdies, who are looking to turn their season around. Again, it's Wednesday night, June 25th, 7 p.m. on ESPN 2.
It's summer soccer, baby.
You better believe it.
Got a lot of action going on.
I'm not sure you can have the TV on during the day right now and not have a match on.
As it should be.
Yeah. You can have streaming on your laptop, have the game on your TV, your smartphone.
The question is, how many screens are you actually capable of watching at the same time?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you.
Like 3 or 4.
Actually?
Yeah.
There is no way that I can have more than 2.
Oh, I prefer 1 or 2, but I could have 3 or 4. It is a lot to take in at once, but if there's any time to do it, it is during this summer of soccer. Well, that man for Sacramento has been very active. He's on a yellow card as well. Jack Gurr will be keeping an eye on that in the second half. The one prior meeting, we mentioned this earlier between these two, and there was late drama. Rhode Island were 2-1 up very late on in stoppage time last year when these two got together on May 11th. And Sacramento stole a point in Smithfield last season. This ball is floated over the top, too close to Lee for Lopez and company to make anything of it for Neil Collins and his side.
And I think that it'll be surprising if we don't continue to see a bit of an uptick in Rhode Island's pressure. We've mentioned it a few times, the schedule that the Sac Republic team is on, and how does that fare them in the second half? They're on their 3rd game in the last week. Last Saturday, they played San Antonio at home. They go across the country to play Birmingham Legion. They go straight up to Pawtucket, Rhode Island, with only a couple days rest, and so managing minutes now is going to become important for Neil Collins. And my earlier statement continues to stand. I'm not sure that Frank Darcy is going to touch the ball tonight without being fouled.
He was fouled, and it was a yellow card as well. Looked like it was Benitez for Sacramento that put in the challenge. Late confirmation on that. Did look like that the referee was pointing at the player. There have been times where referees are trying to keep a tally of how many times a certain player has been fouled in a game, and it looked like 4 fingers went up. And if that is how many times Frank Nadarce has been fouled tonight, I would not be surprised at all. And Benitez's yellow is confirmed. Starting to see referees do that more and more in different leagues around the country. Sarah will not be able to catch up to that, but it'll allow Rhode Island to put on a press here. Benitez has impressed for Sacramento as of late. Neil Collins has been thrilled with his contributions. He is in the referee's book the rest of the way.
It'll be interesting to see how how he continues to progress in this game model for Neil Collins, a player who absolutely has the vision to be given freedom in the build-out. Obviously, right now, his roles and his responsibilities are given to him on a game-by-game basis, but I do believe that Benitez is a player Neil Collins wants to see grow in his freedom. He's got vision to understand spatial awareness, he's got vision to understand passing channels and how to make those. And I think that that's actually a big key for Sacramento in this second half. Getting him a little bit more involved can provide you with more consistent opportunities.
High Noon's quality is second to none, formulated with real spirits, real juice, iced tea, no added sugar, and natural flavors. High Noon is the perfect drink for any occasion. Nice follow-up there by Yao, and then Sanchez couldn't pick out a teammate. This is Gurr, who's closed down nicely by Quizera. Goes down the line. It's off the back of Sanchez. Just in front of Neil Collins. Gurr will get the ball back into play. There's Neil. Former Tampa Bay Rowdies coach that went overseas to England in the English footballing pyramid to try to help Barnsley move up the ranks, and he's back at Sac Republic. He told us he just loved the buy-in that the Sacramento community has in this team. Of course, the new stadium's coming forward for a very, very good organization. As a challenge comes in here, it's going to be a foul and a free kick for Sacramento. Pirano is still down, and the yellow card comes out. Referee has a word with Karifa Yao.
Well, Pirano is so dangerous, dribbling at the back line. No doubt discussion needing to be had with Karifa Yao. And that's the physicality expected of this Rhode Island back line, no doubt. But that's also the willingness of Pirano, a player who is very dangerous going at you 1v1. We already talked about his speed in the first half and how much of a game changer that is. When he gets going facing your back line, it's something that you want to stop immediately.
Sac Republic in a pretty promising spot here for a set piece. They have plenty of players to choose from here as well as to who will take it.
Set piece has not necessarily been a strong suit for Rhode Island either.
Looks like Rhode Island will put 4 in the initial wall with Benitez and Roro Lopez. The brain trust over this set piece. Dequa will have to retreat eventually when the referee spots him. Some gamesmanship there from the Rhode Island striker, who's maybe saying the ball is not where it should be located here. The referee's saying that it's where it needs to be. Again, some gamesmanship there.
Hard to believe that this would be anyone but Roro Lopez.
Hasn't scored yet in the USL Championship this season. And Nabil Ben Salah just making sure everyone is staying where they need to here. Now 5 in that Rhode Island wall. It is going to be Roro Lopez. Oh, it's spectacular. It's a Roro rocket into the back of the Rhode Island net. The captain's first goal in the USL Championship this season is gorgeous, and Sacramento have the lead in Pawtucket. Vintage Roro Lopez.
Couldn't have said it better, Sean. There was no doubt he was taking this one, but it was still a tall task. That Rhode Island wall had a lot of size to it, and the finesse to not only get it over that type of size, but dip it down underneath the crossbar That's Roro Lopez at his best. Set piece specialist. Always one for the spectacular. The celebration's my favorite. You can see exactly what this captain means to Sac Republic. A player who has put the pride of Sacramento onto his chest and has worn it very proudly for several years now.
He's only scored twice in the league over the last 2 seasons. Roro Lopez, 38 years of age now. And just like a fine wine. Aging gracefully.
Well, what a couple of tough years it's been for Roro and his family. Very well known. Medical problems with his son, his own medical problems, rehabbing a pretty serious knee injury, and obviously this year just starting to work himself back into consistent minutes. And I can tell you from experience, right, anytime you're having to deal with an injury, so much of it is physical, yes, but so much more of it is the mental side and the isolation that you can feel going through that rehab process alone. You add that on top of family worries to deal with, something that no father ever wants to see for his son. You gotta know that that means a lot of confidence for him.
Rhode Island up the other end, get a chance. It's blocked away. I couldn't have said it any better myself, Marion. Just one add-on to that. Such an easy guy to root for, Roro Lopez. And there'll be a lot of people, even outside of the Sac Republic family, that'll be very happy to see him get back on the score sheet tonight. Does look like that Rhode Island are preparing a change here. Noah Fuson is on his feet inside the Rhode Island technical area as we speak. Last year's Golden Playmaker of the Year. And Rhode Island, unfortunately for them, find themselves in a familiar spot here at Centerville Bank Stadium, down a goal and needing a response. On this near side as the referee has a word with Albert Dequa. Fuson not quite ready yet. Usgur will put the ball back into play. Quizera and Rodriguez trying to help it along. It'll stay with the hosts on this near side, and as it's thrown back in, now the substitution will be made. Sanchez. He's going to exit here for the hosts. And Noah Fuson has 32 minutes to try and help Rhode Island turn things around. Okiyoshi. Tight quarters, finds Karifa Yao and gets it back. Holstead. Does feel like at times tonight Rhode Island have struggled a bit with that sack press. Rodriguez sees Okiyoshi pick up the pieces here. Quizera pokes it forward. Holstead follows up, finds Dequa, who feathers it out to the far side. First time ball in back for Dequa from Fuson, had too much underneath it. But Nodarse keeps it in play. And Nodarse was doubled up, but it comes back off him. It's a goal kick. Well, at Mavens, they play to win, whether it's their corned beef on rye or their kugels. They've got the flavors that score every time. Here comes the Rhode Island pressure. Okiyoshi. Now Gurr for Sac Republic. Clips it over the top. And Karifa Yao is there, but Cicerone able to swoop in and keep Sacramento in possession. Pirano fending off Holstead. Gets it back from Timmer, and it's touched out of play by Quizera. Roro Lopez goal in the 55th minute ends a stretch of just about 360 minutes without a goal for Sacramento. Gigantic moment for Neil Collins' side. Now it's Rhode Island's turn to try to find another response.
And important to add there, I know that the goal was scored on a dead ball situation, but ultimately the biggest ask for Sac Republic coming into this game was a little bit of consistency in how they were creating chances. And they've shown that here this evening. They've done very, very well to operate efficiently in the wide channels by not only finding isolation moments, but by also creating strategic overloads that open up those isolation moments. It's been very consistent in the way that they chose to do that. And so, goal, yes, credited to a moment of brilliance by Roro Lopez, but ultimately the attack has looked much better for Neil Collins.
It was 366 minutes to be exact since Sac Republic had last scored. You turn to your leaders in those kinds of moments. Roro Lopez delivers to put Sacramento in front, and now they're on the front foot again here. Cicerone had space to run into, and Pirano's unoccupied. 2-0, Sacramento. Well, not for the first time tonight. Rhode Island completely caught out on this near side. And you can't give players like Cicerone that much time and space. It's Pirano's second goal of the season. Sacramento.
See how far that Mavika has to step, and then see how far Hope Gund and Yao have now dropped back. And that miscommunication of one center back stepping, the other two keeping the line and keeping the depth available for Pirano. That's ultimately what allows this Sac Republic team to just dice him up the other way. Pirano finds himself in the most dangerous of spaces, running at the back line. Russell Cicerone occupies just enough attention, releases it at the perfect moment, and it's an easy finish for Pirano.
Second goal for Pirano in the league this season, third assist in the league for Russell Cicerone this season. And these are goals that can take Sacramento from 10th, potentially back up to 7th, pending other results tonight in the West. And Rhode Island, we've seen the signs tonight. They've been a little too open, a little too indecisive defensively tonight, and Sacramento cut them to ribbons there on this near side. Seen Rhode Island come back from 1-0 down this season. They're 2-0 down tonight. It's a Sacramento side that have been so good defensively, and certainly Cano Smith's men have their work cut out for them over these last 25 minutes or so.
And look, this is a new center back partnership that we've only seen in one other match for Rhode Island. And with that, some positional moments are gonna happen. It was ultimately the smallest margin of error where Mavika stepped 2 feet, too high. Karifa Yao, Hope Gunn not on that same page. And Pirano, such an intelligent player, knows exactly what space to operate to start that entire sequence.
Well, you'd mentioned it earlier, Grant Stoneman playing a little bit further up tonight, and then he leaves with an injury. One player doesn't make the team. Grant Stoneman's been so consistent, not having him in there. I wonder if that's made a little bit of an impact in this second half. And here comes Sacramento again. It's a lovely little layoff here. Jack Gurr running into space for the visitors. An early cross, though, is deflected. All the sting taken out of it for Jackson Lee. Do you have a plan to pay for college? If not, check in with RISLA, a local expert on preparing, planning, and paying for college. Go to RISLA.com to find out more today. Ball is over the top, looking for Dequa. Instead it finds Vizziello. Times it off his line. Pirano again from Cicerone. Quizera steps in there for Rhode Island, plays it back for Jackson Lee. Here is Okiyoshi. Switching the point of the attack onto the far side for Nodarse. Hope Gund. Trying to slide that through, and it is kept alive by Maxi Rodriguez. This is Jojea Quizera. Placing the cross. Too much on it, and it lands on the roof of the Sacramento net. Don't miss out on any of the action at Centerville Bank this season. 2025 prorated season tickets are on sale now. Well, in Sacramento's hour of need, they turn to the best of their players here tonight. Roro Lopez, who's been a wonderful player over the years for Sac Republic, and then Cicerone, Christian Pirano linking up on that second goal. And times are tough in a long season. That's why players like the ones I've just mentioned make the big bucks. They're expected to step up for their big. Arce trying to do just that. Couldn't find Fuson through a couple of Sacramento legs. Mabika keeps it going for Karifa Yao on a reset. Holstead for Okiyoshi. Near side Quizero hasn't really got going yet tonight. Could he change that here? He hits it off of Gurr, and Gurr does well to save it out for a throw. Here's Rodriguez. Quizera for Fuson. Fuson is quickly smothered. Again, that Sac Republic back line doing its job, although they do concede possession in the end. Rodriguez really dwelled on it too long, but keeps it alive for Holstead, who tries to poke it through. Rodriguez did follow up, but it was cleared away by Kleeman. Picked up by Mabika. And it's a full reset again for Rhode Island. Holstead switches it for Quizera. Okiyoshi has some space here. Finds Yao. Nodarse. Clips in the cross again. It's easily dealt with by Sacramento. And Pirano looks to get Sac Republic out on the break here. This is Russell Cicerone. Cicerone has numbers queuing up here as he plays it across. Roro Lopez holds up the play. Benitez forced back by Holstead. Luis Felipe back over the halfway line for Desmond.
Right now, the runs in the attack for Rhode Island, they're all very similar. You've got multiple players making the exact same run, occupying the exact same space. And we've seen this from Rhode Island FC a time or two. But a bit more duality and the way that they're moving in the final third is going to prove to be a little bit more efficient than what they're doing at the current moment.
Did look like that Neil Collins is preparing a couple of Sacramento changes, which we'll get to in a moment. "20 minutes plus stoppage time left for Rhode Island." Oh, Quizera dragged back. It's got a yellow card written all over it. Here come the two changes. Dominic Bonner and Ryan Spalding are going to come on for Sacramento. Two men have had a big hand in both goals. Cicerone and Roro Lopez are set to depart.
Southward Roberts College School meets a substitution for Sacramento FC. Leading the match is number
Cicerone got the assist on the second goal. Of course, Lopez scoring the first. Looks like Rhode Island are also going to make an alteration here. Joe Brito, who has come to the rescue for them before this season, particularly here at home against Monterey Bay, is going to come on, and Ame Mabika is going to be sacrificed here. It did look like Pirano got the yellow card for dragging back Quizera, who then leaves Pirano in his wake on this near side. It's going to be a Rhode Island throw after that dust settles there. Although Christian Pirano is still down here, holding his left knee. Medical staff will be summoned to have a look. So many times this season with Rhode Island, particularly here at home, Cano Smith has talked to us about. The defense has been stable. They've been able to create chances. It's been the final third of being clinical in the final third that has let Rhode Island down this season. I think this is one of those rare nights where the defense has just not been up to snuff, and Sac Republic have taken advantage. And this has kind of been coming. There were moments in the first half where they looked disjointed at times defensively. There were open gaps, particularly for Jack Gurr down that far right-hand side. And eventually, one from a set piece and then one from a counterattack, Neil Collins' side were able to make the most of those opportunities that were given to them.
I think that we can all agree it's been untidy for Rhode Island FC, a team who is typically quite comfortable with the ball at their feet, comfortable building out of tight quarters. They haven't done well enough with it. They haven't taken care of it enough tonight in the areas that they need to. And they found themselves in a 2-0 deficit at home. And now if you're Cano Smith, right, we talked about it in the open, that there were a lot of positive things that to the resilience in the second half to find a response. And there's one thing about this Rhode Island FC team. Every single coach that you talk to, they credit the roster and the talent on this roster and the individual skill of every single player that steps onto the pitch. And I think that what we're going to start seeing is a bit more expansive shape and a bit more determination to stay wide and find some of those skilled players in isolation.
Dequa floats that over the top. Oh, it fell for a chance. Maxi Rodriguez tried to catch Vitiello out. It was actually a very clever attempt. But Vitiello gets back in time.
That's big time from Vitiello. He makes that look easy. And Maxi Rodriguez just mistouches that one. You saw it just come off the boot of his right foot. He takes that one cleanly on the laces, perhaps gets it more towards what would have been his left in terms of post placement. Particularly, this lead is cut in half. We haven't talked about Danny Vitiello a whole lot tonight because he hasn't been challenged a whole lot tonight, but he is one of the best in this league year in, year out.
Oh, what a touch by Vonner here, but is well recovered in the end by Karifa Yao. Yao doesn't make that challenge. Sac Republic would have been in one-on-one. The battle continues in the midfield here. Ogiyoshi follows up. But again, Vonner and Sac Republic have it. There's some runners, at least down that far side, and Desmond finds Spalding. Ryan Spalding, a former New England Revolution product. Ball is fluttered over the top. It's another miscued touch, this time by Rio Hope Gund. Spalding with an early cross into the middle. Nodarce's header helped along by Hope Gund. Benitez recycles the attack for Sacramento. This is Gurr down the line. Jack Gurr again, a little maneuver to get past Quisera, but he could not keep it in play. Well, that is going to be it for Pirano. He tried to give it a go here for Sacramento. He's down on the floor, right-hand side of your screen in the background. He will be substituted out, and Blake Willie will take his place. Well, Pirano has made his big impact already, scoring Sacramento's second goal. Blake Willie will take it from here. The 18-year-old making his 12th league appearance of the season.
Well, Christian Pirano caused a lot of problems for Rhode Island FC tonight. His ability to play on the half turn, get faced up and drive at this back line forced him into several unnervy moments.
Fuson. Rhode Island needing to score this first goal of the two as quickly as they possibly can. That ball over the top for Holstead. Shepherded out of play by Desmond. It's a goal kick. Whether you're headed to work, school, or game day, RIPTA gets you there with a wide service or ride. We said we'd keep you up to date with some of the other scores going on right now. 0-0 between Indy and Vegas, 80th minute there. Charleston leading Phoenix by 2-1. 0-0 between Birmingham and Oakland, still in the first half. 2-1 Pittsburgh leading the Rowdies with about 12 minutes to go at Highmark.
The Rowdies might be the team that curses Highmark the most. I don't believe the Rowdies have had any success at Highmark whatsoever. Maybe once.
Not many have.
Very true.
I feel like Louisville's the only team, at least from a historic standpoint, that can survive Highmark on a consistent basis. Two changes for Cano Smith here. Maxi Rodriguez is going to depart. Isaac Enking will come on. Danny Rovira is also going to enter, former Pittsburgh player. Albert Dequa was the other player to make way, so Cano Smith, though, does take off two attacking players there, but he'll hope maybe some of the build-up will be better. The likes of Enking trying to provide Rhode Island with some better opportunities. It certainly does get some fresh legs out onto the pitch here for the final 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think Enking can occupy that space right in front of the back line a bit better and more consistently. He's also a player that does very well to play on the half turn, something I think this Rhode Island FC has missed this evening.
So Enking, little lovely give and go with Fuson. Enking went down. Referee points for a corner, says it was all ball.
It's lovely give and go movement, all started because of his ability to play on the half turn. It does look like he got all ball. That's very well done from Lee Desmond.
Chick-fil-A Attleboro corner, Quisera will take it. Toward the far side of the six where Karifa Yao is there, but so is Danny Vitiello. And he makes the catch and may have been fouled in the midst. There's actually two Sacramento players down as the dust clears. Desmond's holding onto his left shoulder. I think Vitiello maybe just got the wind knocked out of him as Karifa Yao tried to go for the same ball that he was contesting for.
I think this is as good a time as ever to talk about a player we haven't hardly mentioned, but I think has done a tremendous job here for Sacramento Republic tonight, and that's Nick Ross. I think that he has done an excellent job at mitigating players like Maxi Rodriguez and their ability to occupy that dangerous space that we just talked about Inking being able to do. He's kept them playing back to goal. He's kept them away from playing on the half turn and driving at his back line. His contribution for Sacramento Republic tonight has been very high level.
Here is Rio Hope Gunn with Rhode Island running out of time here. There's a switch over to this near side, but again, Jack Gurr is there. When Willie tries to get away from No Darce, and it's a rare miscue touch from Jojea Quizera. It's out for a throw-in. Again, Sac Republic will be in no hurry to take it. That's where the referee has to intervene. Potential time wasting here. No Darce. And then Gurr. Anywhere will do at the moment. It's out for a Rhode Island throw. 7.5 minutes plus stoppage time left. The result holds will be Rhode Island's 7th defeat of the season. Live table as Holstead miscontrols that. Rhode Island would drop from 7th to 8th, level on points with Indy, but of course Indy could still win their game at the moment, of course, and they have a couple of games in hand on Rhode Island as well. So that might not be how the table finishes at the end of the night. Either way, that 8th spot is very vulnerable at the moment in the East. Part of this too, it's worth mentioning, if things don't change here tonight, this would be the 6th game in the league played here at Centerville Bank Stadium, and Rhode Island will have only won one of those games. That might be the more surprising stat. Quizera is doubled up, and he's fouled in the end. That's a free kick. And Jack Gurr's got to be careful. He's on that yellow card. Can't really get too into it with the referee here. Gives Rhode Island a set-piece opportunity, a much-needed opportunity. Try to halve the deficit. Quizera and Fuson providing two different looks for this set piece. Quizera bluffs at it. Fuson hit it on target, but it was headed away. Willie helps it along. Okiyoshi resets for Rhode Island. Back to Jackson Lee inside the center circle. Holstead switched the point of the attack for Fuson. It would not fall kindly for Brito. Jackson Lee will reset the play for Okiyoshi. No Darce skips past a Nick Ross challenge. Rio Hope gunned. Left it for Holstead. And it's crossed into the middle. Nobody in blue anywhere near it. Vitiello has it. And Sac Republic will get more time off the clock, as we tell you that Miller Lite is a proud sponsor of RIFC. When it's game time, it's Miller time. Brito follows up here with Quizera. It's well shepherded by Jared Timmer, who's also been very, very stable tonight for Sacramento.
That's credit to the discipline of Sacramento Republic, no doubt, but I also think it's what Rhode Island FC has failed to do in the attacking third. here this evening. I don't think that they have challenged that shape of Sacramento Republic enough. And so much of it goes back to what we mentioned around the 65th, 70th minute. So many players making the same exact runs, similar movement patterns. A bit more duality needed right now for Rhode Island FC.
King tried to thread the needle, it was cut out. Okiyoshi's challenge not there. Neither was Karifa Yao's challenge as Dominic Bonner just continues to run through the Rhode Island defense here. Finally, Rio Hope Gunn gets there but gives away a throw. Great extra effort by the substitute, but again, Rhode Island at 6s and 7s at the back. Minutes of normal time left. Another Sacramento throw, some Rhode Island frustration starting to show. Rivera on that far side. Spalding will take the throw. And then Spalding with a poor challenge. Rhode Island free kick. One they have to get back into play quickly, and they do. There's space for Holstead to run into here. No Darce. On the near side is A.J. Edwards is getting prepared for Sacramento. Rhode Island are out of changes. Sacramento do have 2 left, and Edwards will be one of them. Quizera. He's stood up by Willie on this near side. Here comes the change. Benitez will be coming off on that yellow card. And A.J. Edwards will take his place.
It's time for a Providence High School with the substitutions for Sacramento FC. Leaving the matches number 22,
there's the change confirmed. Also a reminder that Centerville Bank Stadium will be hosting Major League Rugby's championship on June 28th. You can get your tickets now. majorleague.rugby/champ is the place to go. 90th minute here in Pawtucket. Okiyoshi for Yao. Quizera. It's gonna happen for Rhode Island, it's gotta happen now. Noah Fuson. Cross took a deflection on the way through. Sacramento again will clear it. Out for a Rhode Island throw, not quite. Holstead got a lucky bounce, keeps it in play. And then sends it back into the penalty area with too much air underneath it. And Vitiello, he's able to make the catch comfortably. Of course, the USL Championship is on Spanish on 2DNA, the nation's leading Spanish language network. Oakland Roots taking on Detroit City, July 5th at 10 p.m. Eastern. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete TV listings. So we're into 6 added minutes at the end of the match. No Darce will switch the point of the attack. Rio Hope Gunn's pass came up a little bit short. The homestand will continue, of course, in the Jägermeister Cup. Portland comes in from League One. It's going to be a tough game. Local rivalry brewing there. Portland Hearts of Pine for Birmingham Legion on July 5th ends this 4-game homestand for Rhode Island, one that they really need to make the most of for a tough trip to Indy, and then of course a double derby, Hartford in the league and in Jaeger Cup coming up after that. Quizera to the byline, blocked by Gurr. No Darce back into the middle. Again, Sac Republic have the answers here. Oh, Edwards, did he handle that? Tried to control. Here's the Edwards appeal here. Oh, it does come off his arm.
It's a bit hard done. Again, no VAR in the USL Championship. Does deflect into his hand.
There is a shirt line that has to be sometimes taken into account there, but from that angle, it did look like it hit off the arm beneath where that shirt line would be. Not the first time in recent home games for Rhode Island where they maybe should have had a penalty and weren't given it. One back here by No Darce, but Edwards is there again for Sacramento. And it's out for a Sac Republic throw after the sliding challenge from Okiyoshi. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship Academy to the big league. Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select is the player's choice. And King for No Darce. 3 minutes left for Rhode Island. Okiyoshi for Holstead. Holstead gets it back on this near side and again tries to thread the needle. It does find Noah Fuson, whose cross again, he's caught out, and anywhere will do for Sac Republic at the moment. But Okiyoshi gets it back for Holstead. And it's played out to the far side. Holstead gets it back. Lovely little touch past the defender. Lovely give and go back to Holstead. And then Fuson tries to feed play Holstead. But again, Sacramento have the answers defensively here. Jackson Lee get Rhode Island back on the front foot. Quizera playing it through for Fuson. Fuson past a challenge. Back for Holstead. Noah Fuson clipping it into the penalty area, nobody there.
Look, for as talented as this Rhode Island FC attack is on paper, there have been several moments in recent matches where you just want to scream, be selfish, right? You're one of the best attackers in this league for a reason. And Sean, there is such a thing as trying to make the opportunity too perfect. Several instances of that in the last stretch of 5 minutes.
Again, Connor Smith has said it multiple times this season. He'd be worried his team wasn't creating chances, but we still need to finish off those chances, and Rhode Island have not done that consistently enough. Connor Smith knows that. He's talked to his players about it on multiple occasions, how they need to be better in front of goal. Those decision-making moments have just not always been there, particularly here at home this season. And tonight, unfortunately, is another example of that. And Sacramento are 1 minute away from ending this really tough run of form that they've been on as of late. And King up ahead. Falls for Okiyoshi, who plays it out wide. It's clipped into the middle for Fuson, who lays it off. Quizera, again, maybe could have taken the shot on a little earlier. Rhode Island again. Twinkle toes move down this far side, and Willie, oh, he didn't clear it properly. Spalding does, and then the flag goes up. It'll be a Sacramento free kick, and that will very likely be that. Vitiello will send this forward. The 6 minutes are up. Sacramento really needed a bounce-back win tonight, and that's exactly what Neil Collins and his side get. Just what the doctor ordered. for Sac Republic. A really impressive win here over Rhode Island in Pawtucket. Ro Lopez is the hero. A goal from Christian Pirano as well. And Sacramento jumps back into the top 8, at least for now, in the Western Conference of the USL Championship. Much needed for them. And Rhode Island, after all the feel-good that came from the North Carolina win, have to bounce back again after their 3rd home defeat of the season.
Yeah, they're not going to be happy with the performance, Rhode Island. They didn't take care of the ball well enough tonight, and they were forced to deal with some very early duress. And look, we're still seeing this attack try to find some consistent footing, and as players continue to return to health, the dynamic is going to shift. It's just about how quickly they can get these players into a rhythm. But if you're a Sacramento Republic fan, a night worth celebrating. A very good performance that leads to a well-earned 3 points. You saw some big-time players make some big-time plays, and a wonderful response after a tough loss at Birmingham last weekend.
Well, let's look at the energy play of the game. It's presented by Rhode Island Energy. This was one of the best chances Rhode Island had pretty much all night.
Yeah, you have to think if Albert Dico can find himself within the frame of goal just a bit more and he buries this one, it's a different story. We saw just how capable this Rhode Island FC side is, but a lot of that coming from an early goal from Albert Dico last weekend. They don't get it here this evening and they continue to struggle.
Tonight's save of the game brought to you by Centerville Bank. Make progress towards your goals with Centerville Bank. There's a couple of good chances for Sac Republic in that first half. Jackson Lee made sure that it stayed at 0-0.
Well, we knew that Sacramento Republic was going to take advantage of those wide areas, and Jackson Lee does ever so well to keep with his decision. He doesn't come out to meet Jack Gurr in this moment. He keeps his feet set. He stays true to the near post, and he reads Jack Gurr the entire way. As soon as he puts his head down and opens his hips, he makes the reaction. That's a big-time save from Jackson Lee, who's had to step in with big shoes to fill Coque Vegas.
For Rhode Island, more when we come back.
You may think the nicest moments happen once you've arrived at your destination. At Breeze, we think they happen all along the way.
Yeah, let me grab that for you.
That was so nice.
Whether you're kicking back in Breeze Ascent or just enjoying time together in family seating, we take creating nice moments seriously, so you're ready for the rest of the journey ahead. When it's all over, the nicest moment might just be planning your next trip. Breeze. Seriously nice.
Progress. It's what we strive for, what we sacrifice for. It's about putting in the work. Early mornings, late nights, all in the pursuit of something greater. It's what moves us forward, what unites us. Because progress is more than a goal. It's the journey, the people who stand beside us, and the right partner. Centerville Bank, the official bank of Rhode Island FC. Progress on purpose.
At Ortho Rhode Island, we've built the future of orthopedic care around an important foundation, you. Our experienced surgeons and specialists offer the full spectrum of orthopedic care with leading-edge treatments and technology and a one-of-a-kind patient experience. From diagnosis to outpatient surgery, physical and occupational therapy, acute injury care, and advanced imaging, we make you the cornerstone of innovative care. To learn more or schedule an appointment, visit orthopedicsri.com.
Well, full time here in Rhode Island, as we tell you, Centerville Bank Stadium will be hosting Major League Rugby's championship coming up on June 28th. 2 p.m. Eastern. Go to majorleague.rugby/champ. Get your tickets today. Sean St. Jacques, Marion Crowder, our entire crew. Let's look at the High Bar Physical Therapy full-time match score. Go to highbarhealth.com today. Begin fueling your journey to feeling better, moving freely, and living fully. Sac Republic wins it by 2-0. The third home loss for Rhode Island this season. And, well, the first goal was a thing of beauty from Ro Lopez. Over the top and into the back of the net.
And we said it on the replay. This is a Rhode Island FC wall with probably some of the biggest players in USL Championship, 6'6", 6'5", and Ro Lopez not only gets it right over them, but he has the finesse to dip that right underneath the bar. That's a vintage Ro Lopez goal, and it meant a lot for the captain to get the scoring started early. Then we fast forward into the 62nd minute. And Christian Pirano, how good is he when he's driving at the back line? And he figures out the exact space to occupy, takes advantage of poor positioning from this Rhode Island FC back line. Mabika steps, the rotation is not fast enough, and Hope Gunn and Karifa Yao keep Russell Cicerone's run onside, and Russell Cicerone takes just enough touches to occupy Yao, and it's an easy open of the hips for Christian Pirano in the back post.
Two quality Sac Republic goals leading the way after they hadn't scored in 366 minutes. They certainly had no such trouble here tonight. As we look at full-time match stats, and again, there were chances for Rhode Island, particularly in the first half, but those seemingly dried up in the second half.
Yeah, the first half, there was a little bit more nuance to the movement, especially above the ball. In the second half, as they started to have to chase the game, everything got vertical and everything got quite predictable. The possession numbers, that's going to be something that would lead you to believe that this game was in control for Rhode Island FC, but in fact it was because Sacramento Republic, on very tired legs, their third match in just a week, decided to be happy with this performance. Sacramento Republic going to look to build, no doubt, with confidence moving forward.
It's a performance that for now can keep Sac Republic back in the top 8 in the West. It could leave Rhode Island by the end of the weekend out of the top 8 in the East. 38 years young, Roro Lopez is the match winner tonight in Pawtucket for Sac Republic. Pirano helping out along the way as well. For Marion Crowder and our entire crew, I'm Sean St. Jacques. We say so long from Centerville Bank Stadium. It finishes Rhode Island 0, Sac Republic 2 as Neil Collins' side get back on track in the USL Championship.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.